guys, it is Margie from Reclaimed by Ramsey, and I have got such a fun project planned for today. I'm sure you guys have all seen these at your local thrift stores. It's just, you know, some kind of banner that used to hang probably from the 90s, I'm gonna guess, maybe the early 2000s, who knows, but this does not go with my house, so I'm gonna make it into something new. So that's what we are gonna do today. Now the first thing we're going to do is we've got to cover up the image that's on here, because guess what? We are going to put a brand new image right on this canvas. So you can just grab any kind of paint that you want. I am using Finish All from Heirloom Traditions. It's my favorite paint of all. And literally you just dip it in, and this is not hard. This is the really easy part. Everyone watching today, if you have hands, you can do this. If you don't have hands, I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be harder if you don't have hands. Although, you know Johnny Erickson Tata, she doesn't have hands. Well, she does, but she paints with paintbrush in her mouth. It's really quite impressive. I'm not nearly that impressive. So literally, the reason we're doing this too is just so that we have a nice base coat to work with, and especially because there's red in here. And if you didn't have red, if you had something really mild behind, you probably wouldn't even need to paint over it. But I'm doing a video, so I want to do it the right way. You guys know me. I'd probably cheat and not do it if I wasn't making the video, right? Totally. So I'm not going to make you guys watch me paint this. I mean, obviously you can see it's just paint, just a 99-cent chip brush. Clean it if you're done, throw it away, doesn't matter. So I'm not going to make you guys watch this whole thing though. We're going to, through the beauty of photo editing, we will get right to the next part, so stay tuned. So I am just continuing to paint this canvas cloth that was part of this banner. So, and I'm just basically covering up the image that was here before, just so that I kind of have a blank canvas. Now, of course, you can go out and buy a canvas and, put your rods together and do that. This was already done for me, so, I paint. So, a coat of paint on it, easy peasy. So in this next part of the project, you can use whatever kind of transfer medium that you want. I'm using Mod Podge, and mine is a matte finish. It comes in all kinds of finishes, so if you don't want your project to turn out like glossy like a picture or anything, you're going to want to use the matte finish, so just make sure that you check that, because I have bought the wrong kind more than once. So when you're working with a large graphic, I have found that it's best to work in smaller sections, and so I'm just going to, similar to wallpapering, I'm just going to kind of fold this half back, and I'm going to work from this half up. And then, I just poured some out here in the lid. And again, I'm just using a chip brush, and I'm going to fairly liberally apply this, especially near the corners. And it dries kind of fast, so you don't want to diddle-daddle when you're on here. You kind of want to get it on there and get it down. So you just want to, you just paint it on. You could even spill it, which I might end up doing, because I see some clumps in here. You want to try to not have any dried glue, and if you're like me, I'm kind of messy, so I don't always get it cleaned up correctly. So just pour some out even on your project, and you want to make sure that you have a nice even coat. Like I said, especially on the sides, because you're not going to want it to lift. So we're just going to do that. And it's going to dry clear. It's not going to dry, looking like, oh my gosh, there's glue everywhere. It's not going to look like that. Okay. You see right there was like a big lump of glue. You don't want big clumps of glue, because the texture will show through your image. Okay, so you're just going to do that, and then you're going to take the other edge, and you're going to you're going to want to make sure that it's kind of centered where you want it, because you don't have a real long time to Make sure it's perfect. I should probably stand up just to make sure. Yeah, see, I would have been going crooked, guys. So just, you know, do your best. And probably, you know, if you're going to do this, you know, you can always measure. Those of you who know me know that's probably not going to happen today, because I'm not into the whole measurement. If it's not perfect, it's not perfect. Better to have it done. Anyway, so you're just going to smooth out the wrinkles. I see up here in this corner, I can tell that I don't have enough down there. So I'm just going to grab a little bit more. Give it a little dab. And seal it down. Same thing with this corner. I didn't get enough on there. Just going to grab it and seal it down. Okay. Now, you're going to want to just lightly try to get the wrinkles out. Well, this is a sign, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Junk Hunk was just here trying to get in while I'm doing a video. Can you believe it? He has to go around. He can't come through here. Okay, so... And I'm just going to do the same thing with the bottom. And so when I bring you back, you will get to see how it looks. All glued down, and then we'll get to the next step of the project. So stay tuned. So I finally have everything. Everything is dry. We've attached our graphic, which if you're trying to look for where you can find a graphic like this, like I said, this was from an old book from like 1896 in the county that I was from. But you can find anything like this. A lot of times you can just Google. I forget what they're called, something free images, but whatever, copyright free. So, alright, so we have got our graphic on our piece of paper, we've got it all painted, and now I'm just going to go back in and just add a little bit of that grunge, just add a little bit of age. And one way to do that, you can go with like a brown wax or a black wax. I thought maybe the black would be too sharp and the brown would be too much of a contrast on the white paper. So I am going to use, this is an actual antiquing gel from Heirloom Traditions. It's called Weathered Wood. It is my go-to for all things rustic and weathered. And then I just like to add a little bit of water to it, just so it has a little bit of play, a little bit of movement. And then I'm just, guys, it's going to get real here. I'm going to finger paint, because I'm just going to literally just take this and just dab it along the edge here. And then I'm just going to kind of, you know, smudge it into the corners here so that it would look like it, you know, it has some age that appeared over time. And I'm just going to kind of smudge it and see where I like it. Come up here and do a little bit more. You can do a little heavier on some areas, a little lighter. And just, you know, rub it in. You can do however you want to do it. And, you know, this is the thing, is even if you had 100 of these posters, you could make every one really different. You could box this out and frame it. You don't have to put it on something like this, but you could literally, honestly, you could do this. Something that would be really cool is you could add color to this if you wanted to. You could literally, you know, you could watercolor in these letters. If you know, if the farmhouse, you know, vintage thing isn't your thing, well, then make it yours. Do what you want with it. You could fancy it up even. You could use some, you know, maybe some metallics on here. It's yours, so you can do whatever you want with it. Anyway, okay, so literally, it's just chip brush again, and it's just dabbing and just kind of, you know, you get this really cool effect from the little amounts of texture. I don't know if you guys can see that. You can kind of see how it's coming along. So we're getting some texture on there. I'll probably add a little bit more before it's all done. And one of the things I wanted to tell you is occasionally, you know, when you get black and white paper wet, sometimes you'll get a little bit of a redness that comes through from as the ink is being wet and then drying. And that's a great place to be able to put some of your stain or whatever you're going to do to it, because it's kind of a little bit of a camouflage. Not that you have to be like really picky with it, because let's face it, after all, you know, if it was old, it might have some red on it from, you know, who knows what. So I will be back as soon as this is done. Ta-da! Look guys, it turned out so terrific. Can you believe that I just picked up this tapestry piece at the thrift store for $3 and a $3 copy and some paint in an afternoon, and my friend Heidi on the camera for me taking all this great video. And look, it's a one-of-a-kind, vintage inspired, antique inspired, great piece for your wall. It's nice and big, so I'm really happy with it. And I'll tell you what, if you like this idea and you want more great ideas, then do all the things, you know, like me, give the thumbs up, do the clicking, do all that stuff. And if you can, leave a comment in the, leave something in the comments below and tell me what your favorite part about this project is. And until next time, we'll see ya.